And good morning, everybody. Welcome. It is Friday, what is it? May 17th? I don't even know what day it is. I'm all over the place. 16th, I believe. Thank you for joining us here in another edition of Kiwanis Connects. I'm in Virginia Beach as always. And as you can see by your screen, we have a miniature Hollywood Squares thing going on because John is in Vegas. He's not visible at the moment. Of course, Doc Val, she runs the ship. And today we have two additional first mates. Very familiar folks that you probably see a lot in our chat room, certainly in the PSA commercial we run for stroke awareness. That's John Brummer and Derek Lubick. I'm Aaron Phillips. Thank you to everybody for tuning in and making us part of your Friday. Doc Val and gang, how's everybody doing today?
Woo-hoo.
All right, there's excitement for you. Kicking off the show, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot to talk about today as we've been talking, Doc Val, the last couple of weeks. The month of May is Stroke Awareness Month. And so we've been running the public service announcement that Rocky Bersati, who's the third person who's joined us, unfortunately is not available today. We've been talking about that. So we're going to talk about stroke awareness. We have Kiwanis Wow moments, I'm sure. Of course, we have Melissa Atwell's weekly message. And of course, bad dad jokes coming at the end of the show, but I have to tell you this week's theme, for those who do not know, this past Tuesday, Doc Val, I had my oral surgery. I had not one, not two, not three, but 8. 8 is enough. Teeth are extracted. I have a denture in the front that is killing me. So if I start slurring and sound like Elmer Fudd, just know I'm not on drugs. Well, I might be on drugs now that I think about it, but I'm not. So today's bad dad joke themes, you guessed it, folks. Bad dad jokes of the dentist. I'm getting even with all y'all out there as far as dentistry is concerned. But with that, my friend, Doc Val, how are you doing this week?
You know, I'm in full recovery mode. It's amazing when you put on a festival, how much it takes to actually make it happen. And I know you guys are getting ready to go into a major festival weekend. But, you know, you take special games like John and Derek are actually involved in, and you add bands and you add food trucks and you add a whole bunch of city regulations that you never knew existed, and you write a lot of checks. It's amazing.
Now, wait a minute. Do you write a lot of checks for good reasons, or are we talking you write a lot of checks to get things done?
Well, they're for good reasons to get things done.
Okay.
And so there's no bribery. But if you don't write that check, you're not going to have an event. And so that was going to be my PSA for today is start early on these things, because with all the laws that have been changing over the last 6 months and all of the guidelines and funding regulations changing, counties have been very responsive. And so it went from a 3-signature process to a 19-signature process.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
I want to know if each and every one of those 19 signatures that they're getting paid.
I think it's how they justify their job. I'm not sure it's how they're getting paid. So the Highway Patrol even had to say, even though there's no highway within 20 miles of where we are, that it's okay that this event would not impact the Highway Patrol. Jeez. The Health and Human Services Department had to say that we were cleared and that we had a good health plan. We had to contact the fire department, the police department, and even what was it, PG&E and AT&T. It was just like, we're having the same number of people as we did last year, and I only had 2 signatures. Now,
so that's just nuts, absolutely nuts. Well, here's the good thing. I sympathize because last night was the 46th annual Chesapeake Kiwanis Shrimp Fest on the Chesapeake City Park, which kicks off this entire weekend, the Jubilee Fest, which is a big carnival thing. And fortunately, Mother Nature cooperated last night. Packed house. Unfortunately, I was still on weight moving restrictions and couldn't eat a whole lot, so I missed out on all the shrimp. And all the hush puppies, the Knights of Columbus supported us. They made the hush puppies that went with everything. But everybody had a good time. Now the Jubilee and all the rides for the kids and all that, that's the rest of this weekend. But as you said, our Kiwanis Club is very much involved in all the planning. And you're right. Every week when we got the updated reports, this one needs this one needs that, and have been doing it for 46 years. Nothing's changed. Now everybody wants a little piece of the pie. But speaking of pieces of the pie, let's get our friends here involved. Derek and John are with us, good friends, longtime friends of Kiwanis, the show. You guys have no experience with putting on events for good causes, do you?
Special games. I'm involved with special games. From the day that special games not ends, but the last day, we go right back into planning mode all over again.
And most people don't realize that out there. They think, oh, it's just a couple weeks just before like this great event, special games. You guys just break out all of the games and get people signed up.
No, we have a warehouse where we store all the stuff, and it's not really our warehouse. It's a warehouse that we rent the space. But the amazing thing is, whenever I go there, it reminds me of the end scene of Indiana Jones and not Last Crusade, but the one where the Ark.
Oh, where they put it in the big warehouse with all the stuff in it.
You walk in there, it's this warehouse full of boxes, and I'm just picturing. I'm looking at it, thinking, there must be the Ark up there somewhere.
The Ark of Covenant.
Remember that TV show Warehouse 13? That was on the Sci-Fi Channel. Was a lot like that, where they find all these artifacts and store them. So
that's kind of like my garage. And, it's like I'm going to show you some before and afters. It's going to scare Andy. But it's I've got 3 organizations all stuffed in there, plus 2 households. So. Oh
my goodness gracious. Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, the historic Kempsville Family Fun Fest that I've been talking about all these months. Our first meeting was last September, and it's coming up. So you're right. As soon as an event ends, you're already planning for the next stage. Now, there's a lot of things that John was sharing, and I see we lost John Brummer there for a moment. Hopefully he'll jump back in here, Derek, is that you guys have just recently started your own stroke support group.
Yeah, we're still working on that right now.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit about it, because I haven't seen anything locally about a stroke support group. So what makes yours work, or what are you working on?
Working on, I think right now, names and getting people signed up.
Okay. So will you guys be meeting and stuff?
Our goal is to try to get maybe a stroke support club started. Kiwanis Club.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think, and that's good, because Kiwanis now, Val, and we've had clubs on here over the couple of years we're doing this together, where specialized Kiwanis clubs now are forming, such as the sex trafficking club up in Northern Cali there and things like that. So to have a Kiwanis related stroke survivor support caregiver club, I think makes total sense.
Well, and the idea is, obviously we're going to talk about, we talk about stroke support and what to look for, but you don't have to you wouldn't have to have had a stroke to join.
Right. Okay.
It's probably good that you don't have the stroke to join.
Okay. So would you be a resource to other clubs and other organizations with that club? Is that part of what your goal is as a stroke support club?
I think we're working with the Pacific Stroke Association, a nonprofit that does stroke support groups, and we're working with them to get this club started. Derek and I will be on a convention this coming week in Mountain View, which is near San Jose, and doctors are going to be there, nurses, and some stroke survivors. We're going to network there.
Yep. And of course, John's going to hand out M&Ms to get them.
No. I'll send my bag to Aaron.
There you go.
Candy.
There you go. Speaking of See's Candy, Herman must be very unhappy. I saw a news article that a See's Candy plant is closing out there.
Oh.
So Herman must be shedding a tear somewhere.
Oh my goodness! Tell me it isn't true.
You can look it up.
See's Candy is one of the biggest partners that we have in Kiwanis. When we moved away from selling peanuts to do fundraisers, See's Candy filled that void. And I know, John, you remember the peanuts.
Yes.
It's been filling that void. And it's like, so as we're going through this, I'm devastated. I'm going to have a moment.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring the conversation down. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm sorry. By the way, you mentioned Pacific Stroke Association. We are currently running their website link on the bottom of the screen. That's important because when we attended a convention when I was out there, a couple of years ago, these guys, along with Rocky, were doing a seminar about stroke awareness, and we were first introduced to the Be Fast concept, which you see on the screen behind John, and then there's a poster there behind Derek. I noticed a little tweak to the Be Fast setup where the word B, the letters BE are by itself without necessarily the acronym. At least that's also the way they have it on the website and whatnot. So I see a little tweak, but go to Pacific Stroke Association. They have all the resources on there thus far. And presumably they will have a new one regarding the support group that these guys are talking about, as well as the Kiwanis Club.
Aaron, one other thing I participate in, and Derek does sometimes because his therapy is at the same time. It's an exercise program for stroke survivors and older people like Kiwanis. You can participate in that. It's put on by East Bay College, and they do a great job. I mean, there's some stroke survivors on there. I feel lucky what happened to me. Derek is, we can't say enough about Derek, his improvement. You wouldn't even know Derek had a stroke now. He's walking, he's doing everything, but he does the exercise program too. It's a great resource. If anyone's interested, they can contact me. I'll put my email and phone number in the chat, and it's a great program. We do it twice a week.
And I'm glad you touched on that, because one of the things I printed off some information for us to talk about, and we'll talk about it when we come back on the other side of the break, is that everybody's recovery is different. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of depending factors on the success of recovery and a normalcy that everybody hopes to obtain. We're going to get into all of that. When we come back, though, we're going to talk about what is a stroke first. I have some statistics that these gentlemen probably know as well. You can also find them on the PacificStrokeAssociation.com .org website as well. So this is more for awareness and just kind of keeping in mind your fellow person next to you, making sure we're there to help them all out. You're watching Kiwanis Connects with Doc Val and the boys. We'll be right back. Some estimates say that someone in the United States has a stroke every 40 seconds. Rocky, please share with us your experience.
Aaron, as we all think we are invincible, after playing baseball for 12 years and never missing a game, I had a stroke while I was umpiring. It put a new perspective on life for me. No more golf, bowling, dancing, or most importantly, playing catch with my grandchildren. Please listen to your own body warnings. Pay attention and watch for your family and your friends. Watch for those warning signs. You are not invincible.
Derek, what are some of the symptoms and signs we should be aware of?
The simple rules to remember: the Be Fast rule. Balance. Beware of loss of balance. Eyes. Check for vision loss. Face. Check if one arm is weak or numb. Speech. Listen for slurred speech. Time. Call 911 immediately if there's treatment. There's treatment available if it's within 3 hours.
John, what are some of the resources that folks have available for them?
There are several stroke support groups available to stroke survivors and their caregivers. Many of the stroke support groups you can attend can be accessed on your computer via Zoom. The stroke groups we support are located at the bottom of the screen.
This message was proudly brought to you by the following: the Kiwanis Club of Laguna Elk Grove, the Kiwanis Club of Oakland, and the Kiwanis Club of Palo Alto.
Have you ever wanted to dress like a Hall of Fame broadcaster, but didn't know where to begin? In 2018, Aaron Phillips was inducted in the Las Vegas Entertainers Hall of Fame, and The Voice was born. Aaron has been part of many successful podcast programs, and branding those programs plays a vital role. Visit thevoice.qbstores.com and order the latest embroidered products featuring the logos of many of Aaron's shows. Discounts and flat shipping rates are available on all orders, regardless of quantity, on men's, women's, and kids' apparel, and many accessories. Visit thevoice.qbstores.com and let Aaron's voice speak to you.
All right, welcome back to Kiwanis Connects. Aaron Phillips, Doc Val, and the boys are here. John Brummer and Derek are here. All right, so we are talking about May is Stroke Awareness Month. We have, did somebody say something, or am I hearing voices?
I think you're just hearing voices in your head.
Oh, must be my wife talking to me like she always does. Anyway, May is Stroke Awareness Month, so I want to share some statistics. Damn, this bridge, I'm still trying to get used to talking with it. So if I sound like Elmer Fudd, but that's all, folks. All right, we're gonna have these guys discuss what a stroke is. But first, let's talk about this. Almost 800,000 Americans each year suffer a new or get a stroke again. That means on average, a stroke occurs every 40 seconds. I want to let that one sink in a little bit. And this information, guys and gals, you can get it right on the website for Pacific Stroke Awareness.
And Aaron, I wanted to jump in because one of the things, a lot of people are probably out there going, well, what does this have to do with Kiwanis? And if you think about the fact that we, as Kiwanians, are adults that are always taking care of others and very rarely take care of ourselves. And so understanding that it can impact any of us, no matter how much of a superhero we are. And knowing the signs means that when we're at events, we can be saving lives immediately. Because if that number is 1 every 40 seconds, you got to believe that there are people that attend our events that are experiencing it.
So I'm glad you said that, because there are many risk factors, like you alluded to: high blood pressure, cholesterol levels being high, smoking, diet, and exercise are some of the major risk factors. Almost 130,000 people a year lose their lives to a stroke out of those 800,000. African Americans face almost twice the risk of suffering a first stroke as compared to Caucasian, and have a higher risk of death from stroke. So this is no joke, and it's been no joke for a very, very, very long time. And something seems to have happened over the number of years, guys, that stroke awareness seems to be coming forward a lot more. Please comment on that, and then please define what a stroke is for those who may not pinpoint exactly what that is versus a heart attack.
Well, I guess from my personal experience, I thought I slept with my left arm wrong, but the night before I got like a weird tingly feeling, and the next day I had my stroke. That was October 26, 2020, and so I thought, I was only 43 at the time, so I'm like, I'm too young to have a stroke. Only people in their 80s and 90s have strokes, and I wasn't a heavy smoker or anything. So,
yeah, I had my stroke 9 years ago. My stroke occurred as a Kiwanis meeting. I walked in the room, I couldn't say a word, and someone noticed something's wrong with John. He can't talk, because if you know me, I talk a lot. So someone noticed it, and right away they said, don't call his wife, call 911. And they did. I got to the hospital in maybe 10 minutes. I got a shot. It's called a TPA shot. It's a clot buster. And I was talking again. The bad thing about that, I was talking again. The Kiwanis Club didn't like that because I talk a lot. They were just kidding. I know. I laugh about it too, Val. Don't worry. Laugh about it. But I'm better now. I do my own speech therapy because insurance doesn't cover it anymore. I went to maybe 3. I was talking, and the therapist said, "You don't need to be here." But I disagree with her. I think I need to return to speech therapy because sometimes I get confused. Part of the stroke is memory loss, cognitive. I can't say it, but I have that. I was lucky, but like Derek, we go to a lot of stroke support meetings that are really helpful.
You're giving me some great ideas. And so, Aaron, brush your teeth because
No,
my brain is going 8 million miles an hour. And and so I think in places where the services and insurance are stopped covering these major things, that is a perfect thing for the club that you guys are forming to actually do, is to come together and bring in speech therapists and balance therapists and those kind of folks to be members, where they can do pro bono workshops for people who have gone through this. So they haven't maybe experienced a stroke, but they can do their service in this area. And I know, so Derek, was your stroke different from John's? Did you lose your speech? How did it impact you?
Well, for mine wasn't an ischemic stroke, and no, I didn't really. I lost the use of my left arm, but I do acupuncture once a week. That's where they put the needles in the head and the arm, and then mix it with OT. So it affected my. Took me a little bit to get back into. I can walk short distances without a problem. So and then stairs are still like kind of going upstairs is kind of an issue. So yeah, there's well, I had a little speech issues in when I was in rehab, the first in inpatient rehab. They send in a speech therapist, and they give you exercises for for about a couple of months.
Okay.
And I still, once in a while, I'll still have trouble finding a word.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I know what I want to say. It's just I really have to work on getting it out. So I'm not doing Shakespeare anymore.
So Derek, John alluded to the fact how well your recovery is. What are you able to do now that perhaps the stroke took the ability away to do before, when you were able to do something before the stroke? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I used to like to go hiking and trail running, and I can't do that anymore.
Okay.
But I can walk short distances, but no strenuous stuff.
Okay. It's a new normal then for you.
Yeah.
John, how about you over 9 years? What recovery things are you able to do now that you were unable to do when you had your stroke that has improved over the 9 years?
This is hard to believe. I do a mock radio show on Zoom. For me, I do a radio show, and I play a song on Spotify. I announce the song after it's over, like a DJ does, and they write my own commercial, and they read the commercial. That helps me with my speech. It's not perfect, but it's something that I do. I love doing it, and I created a thing to help me talk. I'll stand up. So see my hands.
Mm-hmm.
If I do this up and down, that tells me to talk slower. If I talk slower, you can understand me better. So I'm selling this to a doctor.
I thought he was just bowing down to us.
No, Aaron. Sorry. Maybe John, but But
One of the things, John, I think you're more self-conscious about it and about your speech and your speech patterns than I think most of us are. And part of that is because when you get excited, it's like the words are going really, really fast. Even before your stroke, sometimes I couldn't understand you because you had so much going on. The energy and the love that comes out in you and the intentionality is amazing. And so I hope that doctor buys the, a slow arrêt, the sign language thing, because you have just come so far in the past 9 years. And I feel very blessed that Kiwanis brought us all together. I know each one of you independently didn't even realize you guys were in the same division. And that you guys are you're not in the same division? Oh, wow. For some reason, I thought you were because of your camaraderie. And I think that a lot of people, when they have a stroke, kind of shut down. And they really regress and they age faster. And one of the things I've noticed about you both is that by being in the support group and doing things and being active and taking control of your recovery, that you're staying young. It's not aging you. Do you guys feel that this whole developing this Be Fast process and everything is helping in your recovery?
Oh yeah. Well, I think definitely like what you said, because for me, Kiwanis is like my second family. So I feel like it's really helped me not be isolated. And so when I get up in the morning, I'm just not just lying there like thinking like, oh, the world's over. I can't do anything. Gets me out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
Gives you purpose.
Oh yeah. And then another thing that, I was worried that I wouldn't be able to do would be go to Kiwanis meetings and partake in, Kiwanis events and also do photography. But thankfully my right side wasn't affected. So my right side I always get lectured by my therapist. I need to work on the left side more, which I definitely try to implement the left side, but I can still, hold a camera and do stuff with the right hand.
It's like I'm sorry, you have to relearn life all over again. It's like if you break your right leg and you do stuff with your right leg, and now you got to learn to kick a soccer ball with your left leg. It takes time to relearn those skills. It's like occupational therapy. I know I'm minimizing what you guys went through versus a break of a bone, but it's still having to relearn and try to master those skills. And fortunately, like you said, your right hand dominant as far as your photography is concerned was not affected. You just have to do things a little differently with that right hand and allowing your other parts of your body to adjust accordingly.
Yep. So I try to, implement the left side. So, I can still, I'm still working on the range of motion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, I like to joke that my left hand makes a good paperweight.
Oh no.
So I can put it on if I'm signing a check or doing something, I can, use it to counterbalance.
Okay. So since you're talking about balance, I keep looking at the amazing posters that you guys have. Can you walk us through that? And so like Aaron had talked about earlier, it's the Be and then Fast. And so Aaron, do you think we have enough time to be able to kind of walk through that?
Oh, absolutely. Let's do this. Let's go to break a minute or two early, and then when we come back, we'll get into all of that stuff. Apparently, Brummer was having some audio issues, which is why he and I jumped off mute. He called me on the phone, so I'm trying to square that away too. So let's go to break, take care of all of that, come back, we'll take care of business, continue. You're watching Kiwanis Connects. May is Stroke Awareness Month. We'll be right back. Whitney Houston said it best in one of her award-winning songs, "The children are our future." But how can we ensure that this will happen? One way to ensure our future is to volunteer. Most people would love to volunteer, but they don't know where to go to get involved. Fortunately, there is an answer. The answer is Kiwanis International. Kiwanis International was founded in 1915 in Detroit, Michigan. The name Kiwanis comes from the Algonquin Native American language and translates to rebuild. In 1919, Kiwanis changed its focus from business networking to service to children. There are currently 7,200 clubs in 85 nations. However, if you reside or work in Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Chesapeake, Portsmouth, or Suffolk, you have 11 Kiwanis clubs available for you to become a member and become an active volunteer in your community. This will ensure that children will be our future. For more information, contact Kimberly Temple at 757-793-6761 or by email at towncenterkiwanis@yahoo.com.
Good morning, my name is Alejandro Hogan, and this year I'm the president of the Kiwanis Club for Literacy in Salinas. We're a small club, but what we do is we believe in literacy, and what better way to promote literacy than to come to different schools.
We go to schools where there are 4 first grade classrooms. That way we are able to distribute us as members to go in each classroom and give that 30 minutes of enthusiasm for the students to read and become engaged on that book.
Our goal is that they get a book once a month and they take it home. It doesn't stay at school, so that by the end of the year, they have their own home library.
We need more people to believe in what we do, and we want you to join the Kiwanis Literacy Club of Salinas.
All right, welcome back to Kiwanis Connects. Aaron Phillips here in Virginia Beach. Doc Val, not on the side of the road this week. She is at home. No. Derek and John join us from their respective locations. Again, May is Stroke Awareness Month around the United States, and what better place to talk about it, support not only our fellow Kiwanians like John and Derek and Rocky, who you see in the commercial, but also talk about signs that you can watch somebody else and help them. Also, too, little tip of the cap to the caregivers, who are the family members and friends who are in support of John and Derek and Rocky and everybody else around the things that they do to help these individuals on the road to recovery. So Val, take it away.
You know, when you talk about the caregivers, I want to give a shout out, especially to Derek's mom. It's like, I truly believed that Derek's mom and dad were the first Kiwanians in the process. And I always look for Derek's mom at every event. My mother looks for Derek's mom. And so to know that she's not a Kiwanian, is she?
No, I've been trying to get her to join Kiwanis, but she has too much other stuff going on. Well, she's like, "Oh, it's your thing, you."
But your caregiver, your mom, wow, she shows up at every event. She drives you to wherever you need to be. And I don't think she's going out and shopping or all those kind of things. She's hanging out. She is a part of everything that's there. She's like an honorary Kiwanian. Maybe we can give her a prize or something. And I think that most caregivers are like that.
We should make her governor.
I think we could do that. Yeah. I think it would be, even if it's governor for a day. It's kind of like queen for a day. And I think every caregiver needs a shout out because this isn't easy, right? It really isn't. And when I look at John and know that there must be a little bit of a twinge every time you go get into your cute little car by yourself, and your main person is probably thinking, "Oh my goodness, he's out on the road."
I'm glad I live in Virginia Beach then.
But so the caregiver's job never ends, no matter how much recovery you go through. So during this month, please make sure that you're thanking those folks.
John, take yourself off of mute. Tell us who was instrumental in your life during your recovery time for you. You're on mute. Your phone is on mute, John. Take your microphone off. Mute. All right. Try to dial through.
All right. So when he is able to talk with us, we'll be able to do that. But Derek, you guys have this poster that you're showing out, and I think that we should be able to duplicate that and get it out to all the different places and co-brand that with Kiwanis as an effort next May. Can you walk us through the Be Fast? So before knowing you and going through your process, I never knew that about this B. The B, is it balance?
It's balance. Balance, so loss of balance, eyes, loss of vision, face droop, arm, like numbness in the arm, speech, and time. So you have like very short amount of time before you can get a shot. 3 hours. You have to call 911.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, I have John on speaker on my phone up against the microphone. So let's test it out. John, let's go back before we go back to Be Fast. Let's test this audio. Tell us who's been instrumental in supporting you during your recovery.
I got to tell you the truth. My wife, Kiwanis, friends, and doctors and nurses, they're all helped me tremendously. If I wasn't in Kiwanis, I don't know what I'd do.
John, I need you to turn off the audio on your computer because we're getting feedback.
Okay. So
just mute your computer and then just talk through the mic. Well, you didn't have to take yourself off, but that's okay.
Yeah. Does that work?
I'm still getting a little feedback. Val, you're on mute still?
It's you. I think it's the phone near the speaker.
How about now?
How's that, Val?
It sounded better.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, John.
Okay. I'm not online anymore. I'm just on the phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Better?
You hear?
Okay. Go ahead, John.
Yeah. So, of course, my family, my wife, and my kids and my grandkids helped me. Also, Kiwanis has been a big help. I was in the middle of a stroke when I was lieutenant governor. That didn't stop me. And all the nurses, caregivers, doctors, they've all helped me. And Derek's been a big help to me also.
So we were talking about the Be Fast info, and what you see me holding up in front of my face, some people say has actually improved the quality of the broadcast. If you type in Be Fast in your Google search, okay, this is just something I printed off this morning to have accessible for the show. One of the easiest things to do, quite frankly, folks, print this off. You know what? Make copies, put them in your church, your synagogue, your supermarket, your office, break room, wherever it is. Go to meetings, hand them out. And that's one way that we can get this information very simply and easily into the hands of other people to support and educate our friends and family on how to be aware of symptoms.
Hey, Aaron.
Yep.
Aaron, Derek and I give away postcards at convention. If you see it and you want one, take one because it explains Be Fast. If they weren't fast when I had my stroke, I wouldn't be speaking to you today. I was seen right away. It was fast.
Now, you guys mentioned in earlier, as well as in past conversations, that there's a medication that if given to you within a quick period of time, obviously that helps the cause. What is that time period for you or a stroke victim to get the maximum benefit of that medication? How long should 90 seconds, 2 minutes? Is there an average time?
But within 4 hours.
4 hours. And you have to have a certain kind of stroke. It's a ischemic stroke, not hemorrhagic.
Okay. So
I have an ischemic stroke. I don't think Derek had one. I got the shot. Did you get the shot?
Oh, yeah, I got it.
And
Okay.
he said 4 hours. Derek, was that for you as well within that 4 hours?
I guess it would be 3 to 4 hours.
3 to 4 hours. Okay. So that 3 to 4 hour period from the onset of stroke symptoms is the critical component for someone to get this medication that obviously will aid in the recovery or at least minimize the effects of the stroke. Is that a right way to explain it?
And
I have a blood clot blockage. Some have blood clots break. If your blood clot breaks, you can't get the shot.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also important to remember that, we're not, and I think statistically more men have strokes than women because, we think we're tough guys. We think we're something like a Clint Eastwood, spaghetti Western, the man with no name. So we're invincible. So, nobody's going to kill us. And then, we get the signs. We just kind of blow it off. We're like, I slept on it wrong or
right,
tired or whatever, so statistically, I read that more men have strokes than women because, we're less likely to admit that, I'm having a problem.
Now, if you were an old-time comedian like Don Rickles or Jackie Mason or any other classic comedian, you could insert your joke there about men wanting to leave their wives early for all the stuff that are in marriages. So you can insert your own joke from yesteryear there. I will not, however. But you're right. Us guys, we have that. That's not a prelude to bad dad jokes, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Just an off-the-wall thought. But you're right, though. Us guys, we have this Superman complex that, rub a little dirt on it. We'll get back in the game. It'll be fine. So you're right. We will. And listen, I'm guilty of it. We're all guilty of it. And so you're right. It makes a whole lot of sense what you're saying there, Derek, because we have this complex.
It's a little bit like, the scene in what's that Monty Python movie, the Black Knight?
Okay.
When he's fighting the Black Knight, and he it's what is it? I'm drawing a blank here, but it's he's trying to cross a bridge, so he cuts his arms, his legs off, and he's like, it's just a flesh wound.
And most people say that, it's only one. I only lost my balance. My arm's fine, or I only feel a little woozy and my balance is off. My blood pressure is really off, but I don't have all those symptoms, so I'm going to wait.
Mm-hmm.
Don't wait.
No.
Yeah. Don't wait. All right, Val, here's what I'd like to do. We're coming at quarter of, so I'd like to get final thoughts from Derek and John. We'll go to break. This way we can let them go on with their day. We'll go to break, come back. We'll take care of mental health moment. We'll take care of bad dad jokes, and anything else we need to cover before we wrap up. How does that sound?
Sounds perfect.
All right, Derek, you have 30 to 60 seconds. Give us a final message to folks out there regarding stroke awareness.
I would recommend if you've had a stroke, find a support group, and also try to have a sense of humor about it. I mean, it's not a funny ha-ha thing, but like when I was in rehab, this quick example, in the menu they give you when you're inpatient rehab, you select your food. I used to write in beer and barbecue at the bottom of it. And I never got the beer and barbecue when I was in rehab. But, I always try to have fun, try to, and it's like also, but, so basically just, don't isolate yourself after a stroke.
Right on. John, final message from you, sir.
For me, is stay positive, and it takes time. Every stroke is different, and you have to be patient. I mean, I'm 9 years out, and I understand I had a stroke. I live with it. It doesn't make me sad. Don't get depressed, and attend stroke groups if you can. Make many new friends, and listen to your doctor. I didn't. That's why I had my stroke. I had high blood pressure and high cholesterol. I exercise every day. That doesn't matter. So, but the main thing is to stay positive.
Absolutely. Well said. Guys, if you guys and gals watching, if you have any questions, you want to reach out to John and Derek, reach out to John at 916-508-3627. Be on the lookout for their new support group, as well as the possibility of a Kiwanis-related stroke survivor, caregiver, doesn't matter if you're in and around that. They want your support as a new Kiwanis Club. Gentlemen, always great to catch up with you. If all goes well, I hope to see you guys in August for DCon. I'll be out that way, so hopefully we'll be able to shake hands and hug when I see you there. Rocky, we missed you as part of the trio. We'll catch up with you next time. Doc, Val, we're going to go to break. John, give us a quickie. We come back. Wow. Melissa.
We're going to actually see them in Pittsburgh.
Oh, Pittsburgh. Oh, I
yeah.
forgot about Pittsburgh. Yes, Pittsburgh. I'll see you out there in Pittsburgh. All right. Kiwanis Connects. We got a lot more to do. We'll be right back.
At Kiwanis Family House, we build communities and give hope. But when someone is sick, families can be tested in ways they never imagined. Parents have to travel far from home to get their child the complex medical care needed. They may have to miss work and worry about paying the bills, and all the while, trying to keep their family together. That's where Kiwanis Family House comes in. Kiwanis Family House provides a home away from home for families with sick family members receiving treatment at nearby hospitals. Families stay at Kiwanis Family House for as long as they need. This allows them to be close to their sick family member and each other during a stressful time. Every day, Kiwanis Family House witnesses how families are a powerful source of support and healing during difficult times due to illness or trauma. Every day, Kiwanis Family House celebrates the importance of family and the power of love and support.
All right, welcome back. Boy, these guys love us. They just love hanging around with us. Welcome back to Kiwanis Connects. Hey, it just dawned on me that Kiwanis House, I think I have a voice brick laying around there somewhere. So if anybody's out and around that way and you find my voice brick, do me a favor and take a picture and send it to me so that I know that it's there. Anyway, welcome back. A lot of great stuff regarding stroke awareness, to be especially the Be Fast rule. I want to encourage you that if you missed anything about today's show, or better yet, share it with somebody else, with others, please do so. You can stay right here on the Facebook page. We have our YouTube channel, WWDBTV, and the same 3 channels for WWDBTV. Share it. This is a life-saving show when it comes to stroke awareness, right? I don't want to minimize it, Doc Val. This is important shit we're talking about here.
It really is. And, we didn't get into a lot of details. We don't ever bring doctors on because I think sometimes they go way above our heads with the discussion of the elements of stroke.
Yep.
It's so important to bring John and Derek and Rocky and those folks on board, because these are people that we know.
Yeah.
These are people that are going through the experiences. And I think that when we're doing programs out in the clubs, I would ask you to really consider during the month of May doing something that's related to stroke awareness, bringing in people to talk about it. You may not realize that there are members in your close-knit groups that have actually experienced a stroke, because a trans-ischemic stroke can be so small that it just causes a little bit of a tic. You don't get the droopy mouth, you don't get the droopy eyes and the speech issues, but those are the ones that happen frequently. They're like little brain seizures. And when people are tired, they're stressed, they have high blood pressure, they could be experiencing it on a regular basis. And so I know, and you guys talked about guys and how it affects guys, that a lot of women who it affects, they say, oh, it's just menopause.
Yeah.
Experiencing menopause, when in reality, the brain fog and the missing words and those kind of things actually are a stroke.
And I'm so glad you said that in terms of awareness, because what's interesting, thinking about it, men, stress, right? Stress always leads to heart attacks and all that. And for hundreds of years, men were always the breadwinners and bringing home the bacon while moms stayed home and all that stuff. Well, think about over the last, 50 years with equal rights and women now in very prominent roles in life that was not there all those years ago. I think we discount the stress level for women that are with men, because not only does do moms have to deal with home life and a job, where us guys generally just focus on the job and the career and whatnot? You're 100% right. We've got to factor that in now for women. And again, it's just a lifestyle change that more pressure is on the female side of the ledger than there was 50, 60, 80 years ago, where maybe strokes are not as prevalent for women as they certainly are today. And being masked as menopause, where for guys, oh, my back's bother me, my blood sugar's low. No, man, it's equal playing field. So I'm so glad you brought that point up, that it's very parallel now.
Absolutely.
But Douglas is watching us from Rancho Cucamonga for the CNH headquarters out there. I guess he's out there for lieutenant governor training. Is he teaching the training, or is he coming back in as a lieutenant governor again?
Absolutely. He's coming back for another term of being lieutenant governor.
Oh, my goodness. I saw him walking on coals the other night, or some video where he was walking on something hot I just saw.
Well, that has happened in the past. I'm not sure. Did it happen during your year? But a past governor actually took them through a routine of learning how to walk on coals. They snapped an arrow on their throat, bent rebar between two people. The level of training and innovation that happens with lieutenant governors is amazing.
Well, remind me, I'm not going to become a lieutenant governor again. I did it.
I don't know. When I was governor, I brought back 2 of those pieces. And part of it was because walking on coals was not covered by insurance. So we didn't do that. But we did walking on glass.
There we go. Douglas just clarified it, that he was walking on glass. It looked like fire, like coals at first, but he clarified that it was
walking on glass. He did that during when I was governor as lieutenant governor training. I want to do a shout out to all the CNH lieutenant governor elects that are down in Rancho Cucamonga today. Have the best time of your life. Being lieutenant governor is probably one of the best roles. And so if you're out there and have never heard of a lieutenant governor in Kiwanis, it's very different than any other organization. It's because you work with a number of clubs, and you're the best cheerleader, you are the communicator, and you are truly the local leader in your region. So if you're in Rotary, it's equivalent to being a governor in Rotary. It's equivalent to being a Grand Poobah in a lodge that covers multiple lodges and other organizations. But those folks that are lieutenant governor, they have the opportunity to touch so many lives. So have fun, you guys.
Absolutely. All right, with that, it's time to shift some gears before we get into some wow moments. Let's hear from Melissa Atwell, the mental health moment.
Hi, I'm Melissa Atwell, the founder and CEO of the Mental Health Moment. And today I want to share with you the idea of celebrating the little wins. And what I mean by that is sometimes in society, we focus so much on what's negative and we stay there. But what if we shifted our mindset to focus on the positives and look inside of our lives and look at the little wins, the tiny wins, and keep those close to us in our mind and our heart so that we can look back on them in the times where stress is heavy, where anxiety is heavy, and there is a lot going on. Remember, take a moment for your mental health.
And how perfect is that one, given our topic today and the things both Derek and John said about staying positive and being grateful and laughing at their situation. How perfect was that?
Spot on, amazing. And working with Melissa, it's truly a treat because she is so insightful on so many levels. So thank you, Aaron, for introducing Melissa to our show. And I think we're going to have a book out of this. So new clubs, new books, lots of viewers. This show makes a difference in the world.
That's what I heard. I heard something about a book. All right, with that, let's shift gears as the sands through the hourglass continue to move. Let's hear about some wow moments, John.
Woo! 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 I just love it. So, there are multiple things, are parts of the Kiwanis family, and I always love looping back to who we are and what we are, because Kiwanis extends all the way from almost birth all the way through to the Golden K's. And so we still have some Golden K's out there, which are senior members that focus in on their local community centers. And we start as early as doing programs for TK and pre-K. But one of my favorites is unique to the Cal-Neva district, and that's called Kiwins. And Cal-Neva, because we're so large in California, Nevada, and Hawaii, we have 2 districts of Key Club. And so we have the traditional Key Club in the high school, at the high school level, and they run very similarly to a Kiwanis Club or a Circle K, where they govern themselves. And then we have Kiwins, which started out as the Kiwanettes. And they're the big wow for me. And part of that is because they actually looked at the financial shortages that have come up. It's hard to find sponsorships. It's hard to budget. And as our numbers are decreasing and our Kiwanis numbers are not paying as much dues as they used to, the students are having to be really creative. And the Kiwins originally were going to have to do a Zoom virtual training. And instead of doing a Zoom virtual training in 2 weeks, they're actually doing it in person, and they developed a program. It's called Adopt a Kiwins. You can support Kiwins and adopt a student. You can gift $42 to pay for one night of a Kiwins stay, or you can pay the $82 to pay for 2 nights of their stay. And so the sponsorships are out there. And so I'm just going to say this. If you have an opportunity, adopt a Kiwins, because their in-person training is the first time that all of the new leaders and officers get together and actually plan for the next year. And these high school students are amazing. So I will put a link in the chat later.
Sounds good. And I want to remind everybody, please use our Kiwanis Connects Facebook page for all your stories and events, because you know what? I think we're going to start a segment, maybe, perhaps, of highlighting your events. We'll pull your pictures and videos. You can also email them to kiwanisconnectsinfo@gmail.com with some pictures and videos and maybe a little write-up. If you're going to send a video, no more than 2 minutes. And then let us highlight your event that's going on. Not only can you paste it and share it on the Kiwanis Connects page, but we'd love to highlight it. And if we choose your event that we're going to talk about on the show, I don't know, we'll figure something out. We'll send you an autographed book, or we'll order some Kiwanis stuff. And, but we want to start highlighting your events. So please start sending those in and sharing. So we got a lot to share and go around the horn here. All right, with that, we're down to only a couple of minutes. Boy, I'll tell you, I got me some dentist bad dad jokes. It is time for some laughter. Here we go, John. Hit it. All right, here we go. It is the love-hate relationship of dentistry for me. So here we go. Here's your first one. By the way, I want to acknowledge John for mentioning, I didn't know he was podcasting behind our back, by the way, with this music DJ stuff. I have to talk to him in Pittsburgh. I'm at that right now. Anyway, all right, here you go. Speaking of which, why did the dentist start a podcast? He had plenty of crown topics to discuss. Not one of the better ones, but there it is. There you go. Yeah, Nagel, you just logged in just in time as always. Why did the dentist take a break? Why did the dentist take a break? He took a break because he needed to extract some relaxation time. Okay, that one sucked. I know it did. I took a shot with that one. Why did the dentist visit the zoo? Did you hear about this? The dentist visited the zoo because he wanted to see the molar bear.
Oh,
I know. That's a borderline one. I know. Why did the dentist start dancing? He wanted to brush up on his moves.
I kind of like that one.
That was cute. Yeah. Why are dentists such good storytellers? Because they always know how to fill in the details. That's why. Now, I know that. All right. This one should be good, though. I like this one. Why did the patient start shouting after he left the dentist's office, besides being in pain? So don't answer that one. Why did the patient start shouting after he left the dentist's office? Because he had just had all caps put on his teeth. For those who don't know, when you type with all caps, people think you're yelling at them. I know. That's okay. What can I tell you? Hey, why did the smartphone go to the dentist? Why did the smartphone go to the dentist? Thank you, Douglas. I like the emoji in there. The smartphone went to the dentist because he had a Bluetooth. Bluetooth. Okay. I thought maybe that would get some laughter. What did the dentist of the year get? This is a good one. What did the dentist get? Because he was named dentist of the year, he got a little plaque.
So not a crown, a little plaque.
I saw that one. All right, here you go. Only a couple more, I promise. Maybe we need a little more Novocaine to deal with these jokes. What do false teeth have in common with stars? What do false teeth have in common with stars? They only come out at night. I know. Oh. The best is when I explain them. Yeah, Douglas, there you go. Hey, how did the dental hygienist land a job? How did the dental hygienist land their job? By word of mouth, of course. I know. Come on, a little chuckle on that one. Come on now. What are dental x-rays called? What are dental x-rays called? Well, they're called toothpicks, of course.
Oh, I think we're coming up on the last one, aren't we?
Two more.
Oh,
this next one,
Steven.
This one I tried to get myself on Tuesday. What kind of filling did the little boy want for his cavity? Chocolate, right? Herman, chocolate, right? All right, here you go. Last one, I promise. Thank God. What did the brass player buy at the drugstore? What did the brass player buy at the drugstore?
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost too embarrassed to read the answer, but I will anyway. He bought a tuba toothpaste. Mercifully, the Novocaine is worn off, and that does it for very bad. See, listening to those jokes was just as painful as it is to go to the dentist. Okay? I had 8 teeth extracted, so you'll excuse me for pulling out the worst of the dental's jokes because I wanted to kill them like they kill me. All right? There you have it. I am not sorry. I am sorry that I'm not sorry with those bad dad jokes. All right.
That will really help John in figuring out where to shave off time for when it gets posted and edited. Because, wow. And you still showed up. That says that this is truly the best thing on a Friday is when we can do this show and work together with everybody out there. So thank you everybody for tuning in because Aaron is the best part of this process. Okay. And I am so thankful that we're honoring some serious topics. We're not just all fun and games, but we really are making a difference in people's lives. So Aaron, thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Best I can do is say goodbye at this point because I understand Derek is still sitting in the green room listening and he was shaking his head throughout the entire excursion of those really bad dad jokes. All right. With that, it is time. We are running over time. So, John, if you do need to trim off the time before we post it, at least not all the bad dad jokes. Doc Val, have a great week, my friend.
You too. We're happy.
Thank you for coming on. Everybody watching, please come back next week. I promise better bad dad jokes next week because the rest of the painkillers will wear off. Love you, Val.
Love you too.